Hello there, and almost happy New Year, or at least when I'm recording this anyway. This is Penny. You've seen her head before. This is her face. So we'll see what happens today. I don't think she'll get in the way of this. Anyway, I was thinking that at this point in time of the year, most people tend to start thinking about New Year's resolutions. Now, you may not make any, and I admit that because I tend not to do New Year's resolutions per se myself, but at least people tend to think about it. So what I was thinking about is let's see if we can take that just one or two steps further. Or I'm sure you've heard that people say that most people don't do anything with resolutions beyond like 4 days, especially if they say something like they're going to go fit or they're going to go to gym or they're going to lose 50 pounds or something like that. And that usually is gone by, the 7th of January, if not, by the second week. But I was thinking, what if we did something slightly different? Considering we're here almost to the end of the year, at least, again, as I'm saying, that's when I'm recording this, where do you want to be at this time next year? Or even better, where do you want to be at this time in 5 years and say December of 2028? If we start thinking in terms of things like that, we can approach resolutions or the new year in a slightly different sense, I would think. I'm going to use an example as going to school because I am a teacher, but this is just, could be anything. You want to have a new job, you want to move and go someplace else, you want to be married, you want to be divorced, you could take anything, but let's just go with this particular issue right here. So if you think in terms that you want to be in school or you want to have a degree, let's put it that way. So by this December of the end of December, December 31st of 2028, you want to have a new job, that's based on the fact that you've got a degree. So if that's where you want to end up, what do we have to do now to work there? So in a sense, you're backwards planning. So if that's where you want, and you want a bachelor's degree, that means you need to start looking at getting into schools because you're going to need at least in this particular scenario, at least that's the way I'm looking at it, you don't have a degree at all. Now, if you've got an associate's degree, it's slightly different, but you still have the same basic concepts. So if you want a bachelor's degree and you don't have any college at all, you need to start thinking about getting into college. Now you're going to say, oh, I can't get to college. I haven't been in college. It costs too much, blah, blah, blah. The thing about this is to start thinking and looking at your options, because if you're just saying to the effect of, I can't do this because, I would suspect that you haven't done anything or taken any action to start looking at what your options are. You may be surprised at what's available. There may be local programs that are trying to do something and encourage, for more women. Maybe you're trying to do something that you're female and you're trying to get into a program that needs more women. You don't know what kind of programs are out there because they're trying to attract women. Or maybe ethnicities or some such thing like that. You don't know what's out there if you don't start looking at it. If you just start saying, oh, well, I can't do that, and you're just ignoring it out of hand, you're not going to be there in 5 years. You're going to be in the same place you are right now, wishing that you could have that degree and that new job. So let's think in terms, or at least I'm suggesting you do, think in terms of what do you need to do in this coming year that's going to get you closer to wherever it is you want to be in 5 years. Or maybe there's something you want next year. Maybe we'll go with weight. Maybe you do want to lose 10 pounds. Don't think in terms of making that a New Year's resolution per se. Think in terms of picturing yourself next New Year's Eve, 10 pounds lighter. So now you've got a distinct image of yourself. Maybe you're going to go to a New Year's party, or maybe you're going to be at Christmas, or maybe even say like a Thanksgiving get together, something at the end of the next year you're going to be, and you can picture yourself being 10 pounds lighter or whatever it is you're looking for. Okay. So now start thinking about what do you need to do to get that goal started? So that if you start thinking about the small things that you need to do, as I said before when I was talking about school, start investigating schools, looking at places, looking at different programs, finding out what's available. Is there anything local? Is there anything local that maybe somebody's willing to, maybe you can get a job and you can work there and they're willing to help you go with school. There are places like that. They do have some schools, or some jobs rather, some businesses do have programs in which if you're working for that particular company and you're working to go to school and you fit certain criteria, they will allow you to go to school and they will help you pay the bill for that. But again, if you don't know, if you don't ask, you're going to sit there and just say, gee, I wish I could have this. So you could at least start asking questions or investigating and seeing what comes up. And then you can start thinking in terms of, okay, what do I need to do and how do I need to get there? And then create somewhat of a little plan for yourself to accomplish that particular goal. Now, if we're talking about, having a new job by December of 2028, you're going to have a little bit more detailed plan, but at this, you just have to have something that's at least a broad goal of where you want to be. At this moment, you don't need to make the whole thing out for 5 years because you don't even know what your first steps are going to be. Make a few steps or make a few decisions about where you want to be in 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, again, depending on that particular plan or goal that you have, and work toward that. If it's weight, which is maybe a standard New Year's resolution for a lot of people, approach it from a slightly different perspective. As I said, have that goal, have that vision of what you want to look like. Maybe you're going to go to a school reunion and you want to, the proverbial go in and not look like you did, 2 months ago or whatever. If you have that goal, in a sense, create, shall we say, a vision board or an idea, I would suggest you put that on a piece of paper of what you actually want. In this case, let's say, I will have investigated, I will have started one class in such and such by, let's say, March of 2025. I'll give you a year, a little bit more than that. That'll give you some time to, investigate, figure out where you're going to get the money and all that good sort of stuff. But you've got that specific goal. Then you can put it on a piece of paper and put it someplace where you're going to see it. Maybe not all the time. Don't put it on the refrigerator because you're going to see it so often you're not even going to see it anymore. How many of you got things on the refrigerator that you don't even know anymore because they're so common you don't see them anymore? So put them where you're likely to see them someplace, but not so frequently that you ignore them. And then every once in a while, just remind yourself of that particular goal and ask yourself, what am I doing to get to that particular point? It's because you want to ask yourself, what are you doing? Because you have to take action. You have to move if you want to get someplace or accomplish your goals. Now, one thing I was thinking about, which is a little odd, but I thought that this might work. If you want to hit return and respond to the email and just let me know what your goal is, maybe you want an accountability partner. I'll be more than willing to take your name and take your goal, put it in a spreadsheet, and then 3 or 4 months, whatever seems appropriate, just send you a little message back and say, how's it going? And remind you that, you did once ask that, if that's what you need. I'm not going to do this like every day, mind you, but if somebody did something like that and they just wanted a reminder like every 6 weeks or 3 months or whatever, I'd be willing to do that. We could set up a little group or something like that if you wanted the accountability partner, because maybe that would help you. So I thought I'd volunteer to help you that, because the idea is to get you started on whatever it is that you say you want to do. Because if you can't manage to get yourself going on at least doing something to get in that direction, then my question to you is, do you really want that goal? Because if you want that goal and you say you want that goal, but you're not willing to do anything about it, do you really want it? Or are you just saying it because it might have been a goal for you 10 years ago, but it no longer is? In that case, change your goal. You don't have to be stuck with the same goal, for the rest of your life. That would even be actually a nightmare if you had the same goal for the rest of your life and you never did anything about it. Come on, you get up and when you're 80 and say, gee, I wish I tried. At least give it a chance to try. Okay? See what happens. You might be surprised. You seriously might be surprised if you start asking people and getting questions and networking with them to figure out if there's a way you can accomplish this. So that's my contribution to your New Year's. And I am serious about that. If you do want, shall we say, an accountability partner, so to speak, I will be more than willing to put into a spreadsheet and keep that data and send you something, a little memo, little email, and say, how's it coming? Did you get into school yet? Or what, how much weight did you lose, or whatever, depending on what you want me to do, and come back to that to see if we can help you get to the direction that you say you want to go. If you're tired of it, let's get going to where you want to go. Okay. So with that in mind, I say Happy New Year. Because you'll probably see this somewhere around the New Year. I hope you don't see this in February, but even so, Happy New Year. And I hope everything works out. And I hope I've triggered some thoughts in you and maybe been helpful. And we'll see where you're coming from in this time next year. So you guys take care, and we will chat with you later. Bye.